All right, guys. First, let me show you where your belt tension is. Now, ooh, I don't know. Forget that. What I was gonna say. Let's cut our light on. Now, if you look down there, put the light point. This is your pulley for the tensioner, and then further up, you're gonna see a star bolt right there. That bolt is holding it on. So what we're gonna need to do first is get to it. Now I can probably get to this without doing what I'm about to do, but just to make it easy for you guys, I'm gonna show you something different. What we're gonna do first of all,
that's all it is that star bolt?
That's it.
Well, we can see that.
No, but to get it out of there, and you got it. Not only that, to release the tension off the belt.
Okay.
We're gonna make this easy so we get good angles at this. And you might want to do this as well instead of fighting everything. We're gonna have to remove this cooler out of the way, but unbolting this cooler, we're gonna be losing some antifreeze. So the first thing we're gonna do is get us a nice clean pan and set it up under the car, right up under the location of this cooler. All right. Now you might have to. Now depending on the car, we're gonna put the pan up under here and see if it can slide up under there. If it don't, we might have to jack the side of the car up just a little bit just to get that pan up under there. All right. Let's get that done. We'll be right back. All right, guys. You see I started to put the pan up under there? That just ain't happening. So what we got to do is jack the vehicle up. Now, on your car, we're going to get you a hydraulic jack or something, and your jacking point is right there at a block of wood. You want to make, a rubber piece of wood, a rubber mount. You want to make sure you jack it up right there. Because anything else, and you're going to damage the side of the car. Now we're not going to worry about a jack stand or anything because we're not getting up under there. So what we want to do is jack this up just enough so we can get that pan up under. Perfect. That is great. The next thing we're going to do is let's get us some tools because we need to, and we're going to be using reversible torque sockets. These are reversible torque bolts right here, and looks like we have 3 of them. Great. So let's get some sockets and tools, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, what you're going to need to do this is a reversible socket, and it's considered an E12, a reversible torque socket. So I got my 3/8.
What's so reversible about it?
Because, let me go over here. All right, here's a regular Torx socket, and the head of these bolts is just like a Torx. And so what you're using is a reversible Torx, or they call it inverted Torx. I like just reversible Torx. That's why it's like that. Okay. Also, what I'm going to be using is a 4-inch 3/8 drive extension with my 3/8 drive swivel head ratchet. The reason why I like my swivel head ratchet is because if the bolt comes all the way out here, the swivel head will go in there and be able to still get to it. So we're going to start with our bottom one first, and we're not going to be able to really see it. So what I'm going to do is,
maybe you can't see it.
You can see that bolt?
Sure can. Yeah, just did it.
Yeah.
Yep, there it is.
All right, so let's get this bolt. Let's get this on there.
We can see it.
Okay. All right, there you go.
Right.
See, yeah, I thought you said.
No, there you go. I got it. I knew I had it.
All right, so let's get our ratchet hooked up on there. Well, they don't have to really see it.
It had gotten blurry.
All right, let's get that one bolt. All right, let's take our ratchet off of there, and then the rest of it we're going to turn it by hand and get that out. All right, let's get that bolt out, and then we'll move on to the next ones. Be right back. All right, we got one out, and it looks like, as you can see, it's starting to drip right there. So let's get our other 2 out. Let's go to the top one up here. That one. Oh yeah. Wow, look at this. What's this? Oil coming out of here too. Oh, got that gasket in there. That's where I wasn't sure. All right, now the next one over here, let's take off our extension. And just use the, nope, gonna have to use our extension on this one as well. Okay, also I'm noticing the bolts are the same size, so dang it. Okay, now this one, you can see I'm getting stuck right here, right up against this. I'm getting stuck right between there, so I better take this off. And see if I can. There we go.
Why's the oil so dark? Didn't you just recently get an oil change?
Yep. Okay, let's get this O-ring out of here and make sure we don't mess that up.
I would call that a seal.
Okay, the seal. Let's move this to the side. And let's put this seal back in there. And it looks like this seal might have been changed at one time. Let's put this back in here for a minute. Yeah, because I can see how you can see how it's sticking out from the housing. So this was definitely changed at one time. So we're gonna keep that in there and move our cooler over to the side. There we go. Now we can see it down there. Let's take this off. Yeah, now we can see our tensioner down there. Great. All right, the next thing we're going to do is we got to take this belt off of the tensioner. And to do that, we're going to need a T60 socket, because it's going to go right into that little hole right there. All right, so let's get this set up and we'll be right back. All right, guys, the first thing we do before we go and do that, what we're going to do is take our some carburetor cleaner, and we need to clean all this up. Now, if you go back on another video we did a oil cap O-ring here. That's where all this oil is coming from. So we're going to just clean all that up. All right, great. Now, the next thing we're going to do is need to loosen up the tensioner on our belt. And to do that, we're going to need a T60 torque socket. And this one's, when it gets that big, you start getting into 1/2-inch drive. So what we're going to need is our 1/2-inch drive ratchet. And it's going to go right into that part of the tensioner right there. And what you want to do here is put it like you're tightening.
Where are you?
Okay, you want to go like you're tightening. Let's get this in there. All right. Now watch the pulley, the tensioner. Watch the pulley, how it moves. See that? And see how it loosens up the belt? That's what we want to do. So when it does that, what we want to do is take the belt off. First, bring it forward. Take the belt off of the tensioner. Okay. And slowly release it back. Great, we got that belt off. The next thing we're going to do is, it's got a center bolt right there. That reversible torque's right there. That's the bolt we need to take out. And if we want, you know what? Let's get this off of the alternator as well. So in that way, it's out of our way. There we go. All right, let's get a socket to take that off. I'll be right back. All right, guys, the next thing we're going to do, let's get our socket right here. Now, this is weird, guys. Check this out. We come over here to the lighting. This socket. Okay, let's go over this way. That says E12.
Okay.
All right. Now we get this one. We got you figure this one will be a E14, but actually this one's considered a B14. So whatever. I don't know. It must be the manufacturer's whatever. But you're gonna need a 14 reversible torque socket. 3/8 drive. Get out 3/8 drive swivel.
What's a wibble?
I knew you was gonna say. I knew you was gonna say something.
Well, don't give me material.
All
if
right.
You don't want me to say anything.
Let's get this onto there and loosen that. Get that bolt loose. Cool. All right. Let's put just the socket on there now. Just to get that loose. All right, let's take this bolt out and we'll be right back. All right, we just about got that bolt out, and I notice our tensioner is moving as well. There we go. Let's take it up. Look at that oil on that thing.
Can that mess up a tensioner?
It can mess up the bearing. No, I don't know, because really it's like it's oiling the bearings up. but so no, you can't. I guess after oil saturating into this pulley for so long can mess that up. But that's a big spring. All right, let's go get our new one and we'll be right back. All right, guys, here's our new one. And our new one actually came with a new bolt. Let's see, make sure it's the same size here. Great, same size. And it came with a pin to keep it in place. Why? I have no idea. But we're gonna try to set it down with that pin in there. What the heck is that?
It's flying around here.
All right, let's try to set this. Dude, let's try to set this down in there. Cool. Get that. Got that down in there too, huh? Alright. Let's go in there. Let's tighten this bolt up. Bring it in as far as we can by hand. Okay. Then we're going to take our 3/8 drive ratchet. And this is very important, guys, because BMW loves aluminum. So tightening this up, you just want to go till it stops and just a little bit more, because you can strip that out. Perfect. Done. Now we can put our belt on right now and just take that pin out and do that, but you know, heck, let's try it. Let's put our belt back on. And as soon as I figure out where the heck this thing is going at. Alright, you know what, guys? I'm going to set this belt back on and I'll be right back. Alright, guys, I need you to look down there to see how I got this belt on. So I don't have it on the tensioner yet. As you can see, the pin.
Hold on. Smudgy. Sorry. Okay.
The pin is still in the tensioner. Now, pay close attention to how that belt is. You got the top of the belt going from the alternator down to the compressor where my finger is.
Where's your finger?
Down over that way.
Oh. Okay.
Okay, going around the compressor. And then, whoops, coming off the compressor. All right, coming back up. And then it's supposed to go over here in the tensioner. Now, I'm not going to remove that pin yet. What I'm going to try to do here is grab our belt and put our belt over the tensioner. Just like that. Now, I'm not done yet. What I want to make sure is that all the grooves, the belt is in the grooves of each of the pulleys. So let's get our light right here. Okay, we got to clean all this up, man. Look at that. That's in there. that's good. And our alternator over here is good. All right, everything seems to be good. I want to make sure that's good. That looks like it's right at the edge or something. All right, so we got that. Now what we're gonna do? It's good. Go in there with our T60 right over here to the tensioner, and we're gonna go like we're tightening it. And when I bring it to tighten a little bit, we're gonna go over here and pull this pin out at the same time. There's our pin, and then we release. Perfect. Tension's on the belt. Everything is good. Now, what I would like to do, we need to clean this up, guys. We need to, cause all that oil and stuff back there. Just again, check out our other video when we did. It was an oil leak on this. We repaired that. We need to wash this down. We definitely got to wash this down. So let's see if we can wash this down with some. Get a water hose would be great. Make sure the car is off. Get a water hose, put it on stream, and completely clean down here. All right, we'll be right back. All right, guys, we cleaned it up as much as we could. We had to actually use carburetor cleaner because we couldn't see no water hose over here.
Well, we did see it.
We did see it, but the customer, they got a show them like a well pump, and it's right there. We plugged it up and all, but no water was coming out. I don't know if that's where you're supposed to prime it or
City
something.
folks don't know how to use well water.
Yeah, we don't know about that stuff. All right, so we got our gasket into place. Now again, check this gasket out. This gasket is in there. If you can rub your finger across here and it's like a flat surface, replace that gasket. This gasket was definitely replaced before, because as you can see, it's protruding from the housing itself. So we know that seal. Sylvia mentioned me. She corrected me. It's a seal. It's an O-ring.
That is too far from an O-ring.
All right, let's put this. Let's put this
shape like that.
Let's put our thing back on top of our O-ring.
Seal
Into place, and what you want to do is be very careful.
What about that oil right there? Don't you have to clean that up?
I'm gonna clean it up in a minute.
Alright, I'm just saying.
We want to slowly put it up there, and get our bolts started. And
Let's get this bolt started.
You know, so we make sure this thing is lined up. Make sure we don't mess up that O-ring.
Forget you. It's an oil filter housing seal.
Now for the bottom one, I'm gonna see if I thought I could get my hand down there, but I can't. So what we're gonna have to do is grab us a piece of this will be good.
Oh my word.
What? Let's cut this light off. Let's grab us a piece of this glove, put it onto the bolt, onto the bolt, and put our socket onto it, just enough to hold it into place. So that way we can go up under there and somehow find out where that is and get that bolt started. And you definitely want to start these bolts in by hand and make sure you got a good amount of threads on them, because you do not want to cross thread them. And this one looks like it's going in, and being that I'm already on this one, I'm gonna go ahead and bring that in till it stops by hand. Cool. Now we're gonna go up here and bring our other ones in at the same time, making sure our O-ring don't move. Seal, okay? Okay, it's a seal. All right, let's get this other one in there. All right, then we're gonna go to.
You left a little piece of glove down there.
Yeah, I'll get it in a minute. Then we go to tight. I'll get it in a minute.
Right there.
Here. See?
You're not getting it.
Dang it! What is?
There you go.
Here.
There you go.
Okay. Now we're gonna tighten these up, guys. What you want to do to tighten them up? Let's start off on this one. What you want to do? This one. You You want to go till it stops. And just a little bit more. This is aluminum. It can break.
Everything is aluminum.
Yeah, this can break. And if it breaks, you in trouble. Strip out, you in trouble. This ain't gonna leak everywhere. Then you gotta change the whole housing and everything. So just till it stops. Yep, just till it stops. A little bit more, and that's it. All right, let's get the other ones done, and we'll be right back. Let's get this one. This one got to line up right here. Let's get our ratchet into there. Matter of fact, yeah, while you're here, let's do this one more. And now I got a 4-inch extension. It'd be probably better if you get a 2-inch. Okay, it stopped. Just a little bit more. That's it. All right, let's get our last one and we'll be right back. All right, guys, that is done. The next thing you want to do, get your water hose, wash all of this down. And we don't have none here, so I'm going to...
If you live in the city.
Yeah.
Or if you know how to work the well.
So we're going to sit here and get the rest of our carburetor cleaner. And it's good carburetor cleaner, dries it all up and all. Dang, that's it. So let's clean all this up and we'll be right back.
Okay, now we're going to start up to check everything out.
Okay. Everything is looking good. No oil leaks. Everything is great.